Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. As usual, welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And without further ado, drink it if you got it. Drink it if you got it. Using one of the Mark Whistler cups this morning. This one has the Old Guy logo on the back. Once again, thank you to Mark for those two cups. YouTube's always doing something to me to throw me off this morning. I'm looking at the viewer count and I finally moved. There we go. 49. Okay. It was stuck on a 10 and I kept refreshing it to see if it, and it kept coming up 10 and I'm saying, well, where the hell is everybody? Thank you, YouTube. It's Tuesday morning. Well into June, the 3rd of June. Pretty soon it'll be July. It just seems that way. I don't know what the hell happened to May. We left it behind somewhere. I think in looking at these stupid rankings with the crowns in them, a lot of people were hesitant to chime in, as Peter pointed out. I hate to chime in because I might get one of those stupid things, but fortunately, Rick Charger Mopar is fearless. Rick does not care if he's got that silly number 1 after his name. Sandy Blythe got a number 2 this morning. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it change the patterns and whether you're going to post or not. Just be yourself. Ignore that stupid stuff. Pretty soon, I hope YouTube will either realize that most of us don't need it and they'll do away with it, or they'll actually give me some control over whether we can have it in our chat or not. Until then, I'm not going to hold my breath. That's for sure. That's for sure. Last night, I finally broke down and I joined Kelsey's private deal, the Kilt's Mighty Tribe. And I figured it's free. Why not? But it's not money that stops me from joining these things. It's just that I don't have the time. Since I'm doing this YouTube stuff, and maybe if I wasn't a YouTuber, I would search out all of these different communities to participate. But I gotta tell you, hours and hours and hours each day I spend doing something related to YouTube. And it is very, very time consuming to read all these comments on the videos and live streams and try to answer them when it's appropriate. So by the time I'm done with that, I want to stop talking. I want to stop interacting. I want to relax, do something, get my mind off of it. So I tend not to. And I'm not a member of anybody's community. But I seem to have this close bond with Nelson and Kiltz and Holly and their channel. I said, well, all right, I don't know how much I'll participate, but I'll join. And I joined Kiltz's mighty tribe. And an email popped up reminding me of their Zoom call on Monday evening last night. So I said, okay, we'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot because I didn't know what it was all about. And since I'm booked to be the special guest on that in September, I think it's September the 1st, which seems like 100 years from now, but at the rate time's going, it'll be tomorrow. I thought I'd take a look at it, and I chimed in, and it was pretty interesting, to say the least. Pretty interesting. I think by the end of the night, they had a total of 88 attendees. And for those of you who've used Zoom, you know that you get just a number of different ways to display it, but you get a lot of little windows. And I got such a kick out of watching what was going on in all those little windows. So I set my screen up to display a whole panorama, and I think I was able to display at least 25, if not more, of those little windows. I learned that they pin a few of these windows at the top, and Kiltz wasn't there last night, but Nelson hosted it, and Alia. So their windows were pinned. The special guest, which was Laura Spath, her window was pinned up top, and they temporarily pinned anybody who was asking a question. I noticed that the proper thing to do if you're not talking is mute your microphone, because on Zoom, every time anybody makes a noise, the Zoom's attention goes to them. They get a green border around the screen, and it pretty well disrupts anything that might be going on, because it immediately figures, well, maybe this person has something to say. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's why I don't like Zoom, and I don't generally use it. And when you got 80 people in a Zoom call, even one of them without a muted microphone can disrupt the entire proceedings. Babies crying, dishes clanking, cooking. It was so annoying. And Alia, who is the moderator, or the producer of this, is so busy keeping up with it all that she can't go and try to figure out who the hell it is that's causing all the ruckus and mute their microphone. Fortunately, most of the people had their mics muted, but it was very distracting. There's a certain etiquette to these things. Make sure your mic is muted. But I got such a kick. We had one girl was on her treadmill through the whole thing. We had one guy, not a spring chicken, who needed to be mostly naked, save for some very little shorts, and working out for all of us to enjoy what he considered his tremendous physique. I understand that being carnivore can make you proud of yourself. I myself have a few pictures on my website of me shirtless because I was very proud of my accomplishments. I don't do that anymore because there comes a point where not only does a novelty of me being able to be proud of what I see in the mirror wear off, but my audience pretty much says, okay, put your shirt on already. And I have. I can't help in the really old videos of mine where I was very proud of myself because the first time in my life I looked like that, but I don't think, and that's my opinion, that being subjected to 1 hour of somebody showing off, especially some middle-aged man, in front of everybody, I think that maybe put your shirt on. I don't know who it was. I didn't care. But it was interesting. It was an interesting thing. And I was kind of honored, I guess. I don't know if it was done on purpose or not, but my little window at my little face was right up there next to Alia most of the time. So I felt like it was very, very special. And I still feel that way this morning. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Okay, let me see who's here and who was here early. Fortunately, YouTube did not destroy the chat from yesterday like they usually do. And at 4:30 p.m., Lady June said good evening. She was over in England. Good evening, Lady June, followed by Terry Sue shortly thereafter. Mary M was here. Peter on the button. Peter said, should I make a comment? I don't want to get ranked. Let's face it, Peter, you generally come out number one anyway by the time the stream is over, so I wouldn't worry about it. Do your thing. Sandy Blythe checked in at 6 o'clock, and United Carnivore. Greetings from Tampa Bay, Mike Seeley Jr. Smoothie. Hiya, Smoothie 420. Get ready. Tuesday's upon us. And Tanya, finally I got the fever for Coffee with Mitch. How you doing, Tanya? And that was at 6:48 p.m. last night, another early bird. 7:20 we had Snowseed check-in. How are you doing? And then Rick at 7:30 from worked all day, came up to a mess due to new roof leaks. God. Hope I can get the materials I need to fix it. I would say that's not a good thing in Florida. And now it's starting to rain almost every day. Wayne Herman from Lake Gaston, North Carolina was here last night. A lot of people checked in last night. Sandy Blythe again. Cliff Medina showed up. Farrell Grandma was here. How you doing? And Jem from California. Jem, hi, Mitch and Mitch Fitz. I'll be a little late in the morning. Yeah, you got to get up early for this now. A little earlier. Anyway, at Manny Beddoes at 2:35 a.m. BMAT. Finally, somebody had a good night's sleep and checked in this morning at 7:22. Mike Seeley Sr.'s up. Jeff Johnson, the name you know. How you doing, Jeff? Michael Pregler's here. Saw a lot of these people in the Zoom call last night. Yes, we are one big community. But this small little section of our big community between the Kilsis tribe and the Mitchfits, as far as I'm concerned, is the creme de la creme, the very special top 1% of all of the carnivore YouTubers. At least that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Retired Rick is with us. How you doing? Aaron Booby Goats, how are you? Good morning. It's me, Aaron, she says. Tammy Patarch. Good morning, Tammy. Good to see you. Jamie Gordon. Good morning. New to the channel. Love Mitch. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much and welcome. Welcome on this Tuesday morning. Who haven't I said hi to? Laurie. And I still haven't gotten to 8:30 yet. Wow. Okay, let's search for the winner. The winner at the bell this morning, Lorraine Nadell. How you doing? Darling. Good morning, darlings. That's nice. Sandy Blythe again. Claudia Burkick. How you doing, Claudia? And we are up to 8:29. 8:29. Mama Bear checked it at 8:29. And Aaron and Lady June and Chris Swain. I believe from the other side of the world. Hi, Chris. And the winner of the bell this morning is Retired Rick. Ding, ding. You're right. You made it. Perfect. Followed up shortly by Smoothie, Rick, Lori, Don Shiger, good morning. Carnivore Police at 8:30. Melissa B at 8:30. Rick again. Keep punching it. Sandy Blythe. Peter. Rick again. Bacon, baby. We're still at 8:30. Holy cow. Get a big spike in activity at 8:30. Rick says he's actually home today. Amazing. Cheryl Huskins, how are you, Cheryl? Good to see you. And that was it. She was the first at 8:31. And let me run down here and say hi to a couple of people. If you got questions for me, QQQ in the chat. I got a little behind the other day and I didn't get to them all. I'll try to go through them a little faster. I'm only 15 minutes into this thing, so maybe I'll have a shot at it. I do the best I can here. I don't have a lot of help. I envy Kiltz for all the help he has, and I bust on him a lot about it. I keep joking about his people. Kiltz has got people. He's got people to do this, people to do that. Now he's got Nelson and Alia like full time. So I don't have people. I got two hands. One of them is improving, but it's still not up to snuff. Oh, wow. I played the piano a little more yesterday. It's a great way to measure my improvement. Small gains. Small, not concert ready yet, but as soon as I improve to what I consider anything appreciable, I'll make another video. Kind of let's compare. It's a great measure of how my manual dexterity is improving. The fewer the clunkers, the better I'm doing. So we'll see. The recovery, just FYI, the things that didn't come back real rapidly are very important. Balance. You're not going to recover quickly. Requires a lot of fine motor skills. Your brain has to really be connected to your muscles for you to balance. That's unfortunate. Things you do with your fingers and hands and arms don't come back as fast. Legs do come back fast, but behind a walker with wheels on it, I'm Speedy Gonzalez, but it's the balance that keeps you from actually getting up and walking normally. So I'm afraid that the pace of my recovery in those departments will be slower than what I've done so far. I'm thankful for how much I have recovered so far, but I'm still accepting the reality that it will take months and months before I'm basically out there walking or running without thinking or being afraid to fall. And I have to be afraid to fall. I don't want to fall. So I've settled into this life for the time being, and the highlight of it, guys, the highlight of my life, the thing that I think keeps me going in more ways than you could imagine, is this YouTube experience and the community that we have, especially the hardcore of that community, known as Mitch Fits. So again, thank you all. Thank you all. It means the world to me. And everybody who goes through this, I wish for that they had a reason to push on like I do, because it's very important, and it keeps you from feeling sorry for yourself. I refuse to do that. Danny in Boston is here. Hiya, Danny. Brian Dish is here. Good to see you. And B, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Patty's Garden. Hiya, Patty. How are you? How are you? Lady June is back here this morning. Boyd Lamb. Boyd Lamb is here. Just turn it off if you don't want to see the crown. Yeah, you can turn it off in your own personal chat. There's a way to turn it off. But I can't turn off the crowns and that community ranking thing anywhere as a creator here. So yeah, you can turn it off if you don't like it. I would have get rid of the whole stupid thing. Who else checked in here? And I'm looking for questions. Roxanne Friend, good morning. How are you? Karen Travis is here. Hi, Karen. Good. And Josephine C. How are you this morning, Josephine? Good to see you. Good to see you. Pamela Suarez, you too. Good to see you. Marla Kelly's here. Hi, Marla. We're all the way up to 834 in the chat. Wow. Making such headway. Louise Floret, hello everyone. And who haven't I said hi to? I still like this name. I like this name. Bacon Baby. That's cool. I joined Mitch's tribe too. The Quack tribe. Oh, that's cool. You know, I was watching that. I was in that Zoom call last night, and I said, maybe I should do something like that. And then I said, no, I'm just going to do my live stream. I have a hard enough time getting people to come into that. Can't imagine trying to get a big audience on a Zoom call. Although most people, it was a lot of those 88 people, as it turned out, had no picture, no sound. They were just logged in. They were watching, but very few of them made their presence actually known. But I'll continue to do it on Monday night. It's a good way to get together. It's Monday at 5:30. Good way to get together with your friends. Everybody's talking. Don't forget, guys, if you got questions, ask me questions. In the meantime, I'll post my crash commercial announcement in the chat, or buy me a coffee if you should so desire. Thank you very much in advance. And Rick, Melissa B, do you have any ducks errant? So Erin will answer you. And she did. Melissa, I have a ton of ducks. I love ducks. You and Rick ought to get it. I don't know if Rick likes ducks or doesn't. He's always making fun of them. But of course, when it comes to ducks, we all know who we associate in our mind first and foremost. Right now, I'm at the stage where I'm actually reading all the chats. See what you're talking about. See if there's Peter liked the fact that I called you guys the creme de la creme. Or if you don't want to speak French, it's cream de la cream. A lot of conversation. B-Matt, somebody finally included me in it. Howdy, Mitch, he says. How you doing, Matt? How are you? Good to see you, my friend. I think I've said hi to everybody. Oh, thank you, Sandy. That's better than people cringing at your laugh. Some people have very annoying laughs. I think Seinfeld did a whole episode about that once. Had a girlfriend who laughed like a horse. If I remember correctly, that was a long time ago. Peter's telling us, I got the results of my blood work today. My doc called me and he said everything was great, even my cholesterol. But he reduced my thyroid med. Can you believe that? I was expecting an LDL lecture. Congratulations, Peter. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. We have more of the story. And actually, a reduction in my thyroid med is great news. Means my hypothyroid is getting better after 28 months of carnivore. Well, that's great news. Great news. Continuing the saga, the thyroid med is the last of my meds. I used to take a handful. Well, good. That thyroid gland is very, very important. Michael Prayer, Mitch, my 61-year-old brother had a stroke that affected his right side. Seemed to have all the same things you have. His standard American diet hasn't recovered even a quarter of what you had. Michael, thank you for that. That's encouraging to hear. I don't know if you can compare. All strokes are not created equal, that's for sure. Some strokes, you got a small clot, you damage some part of the brain. You get a little bigger clot, you can have a lot more damage. Some of them can be life-altering, and some of them can kill you. So there's not enough for any correlation scientifically there, but I'm happy I'm recovering more quickly. My physical therapist did tell me that from where I was, and that's the way to measure it, when you start out with a certain amount of damage, like I was for the first 2 or 3 days after the stroke, completely paralyzed in my right arm and my right leg. Couldn't wiggle my toes, couldn't wiggle my fingers. I did have some control over my leg muscles way higher up. I could, if I fought, I could actually lift my leg up a little bit, but actually controlling the smaller fine was gone. And I've recovered, he said, faster from that level of damage than anybody he'd ever seen. So in that respect, I say, go carnivore. Go carnivore. But you got to you got to really compare people's recoveries. There'd be too many individual factors, I think, to really have it mean anything. And Lizzie, thank you, Lizzie. Mitch Fitz unite. I think we're united. I think we're a united bunch. And of course, it comes from misfits because that's what society considers us. They also laughed, as the song said, at Christopher Columbus, Galileo. They put people to death for believing things that they called hypocrisy, which were against, like that the earth isn't the center of the universe. So be proud if they think you're different. Different usually means you're right in a world where most everybody is wrong. If everybody's wrong, in order to be right, you got to be different. So embrace that difference. I know I do. I don't make any bones about it, that's for sure. Especially when I'm immersed in a sea of ignorant people, like I was in the hospital with doctors and nurses and dietitians who just wanted to feed me sugar. It's unbelievable. Everybody's talking about Peter and his miraculous blood work. Peter's out there walking in the sun. I miss that, Peter. I miss doing my walks in the morning. I know it isn't carnivore or anything else. It's just after a stroke like this, you have a lot of healing to do, especially metabolically, and everything just completely tires you out. It's not like you can go and go and go and go. You gotta rest, and frequently. That's why they put that little bench on that roller walker I have, so that you can stretch out your journey because you can stop and rest a little bit. My therapist, interestingly enough, in the one time he actually let me know he knew a little something about biochemistry, he said, you run out of ATP pretty quick. Well, of course, that's what happens. Everything in the body that moves is mechanical, runs on ATP. ATP is the energy currency. It's the body's money. It's made in the mitochondria in every cell in our body. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It's the final product of cellular respiration. The final product. When all those different pathways get complete and all the sugar is metabolized, and that byproduct, whether it's from sugar or fat, goes to the electron transport chain through a process called oxidative phosphorylation. The end result is 3 byproducts. Number 1, water. Number 2, carbon dioxide. And number 3, ATP. The ATP in that cell is what powers everything. The carbon dioxide goes back into the bloodstream where it goes to the lungs and it's exhaled. The water, we all know where that goes. And it is expelled as well. So, whereas your car burns gasoline and pumps out all this crap in the exhaust pipe, we basically run on our food, water, and oxygen. And when we're done processing it and it creates the energy for us, we exhale the carbon dioxide, pee out, or use the water for something else. And what's left is adenosine triphosphate, which is powers on that. He's actually said, was actually understood that, I think. And that's why they call it cellular respiration. I mean, when we think of respiration, we think of our breathing. That's only part of how our body produces the energy it needs. It all happens at a cellular level. So describing this whole process as cellular respiration is very appropriate and understandable and very interesting too. When you think about the proteins that are actually molecular motors and create movement and motion, it's a fascinating thing. So my therapist said to me, you use so much energy trying to move these muscles and other things that you really, really just deplete it rapidly. So I started to try to think of an analogy for that. And the analogy of that is, think about you driving your car and in the snow or some other thing, and you get stuck. You get stuck. You can't move. You can't get traction. Your wheels are either spinning or everything's locked up. You keep pushing the gas pedal further and further down. The motor works harder and harder, uses up more and more energy, and yet produces zero movement in your car. That must be what it's like when you've lost the connections of your muscles to your brain. It's trying to keep. You can feel the strain of trying, and yet you look and nothing's moving. And it does tire you out so fast, it'll make your head spin. And that's just the reality of it. So I stopped trying to figure out, do I have a problem? Am I sick? Am I missing something? My electrolytes, or why have I got this lack of energy like I used to have? And I think I'm making just as much energy. I'm just stuck in the snow. And until I dig my way out, this is how it's going to be. So you just have to stop and rest now and then. I don't know if that means anything to you. I'm trying to bring everybody along with me on this recovery for two reasons. Number one, most people will never experience it. Lucky for them. But I'm also trying to find out if what I'm experiencing is not normal, in which case I need to find out why. And I do read all the comments, and it seems like this is pretty common among people recovering from a stroke. Let's see, 8:54. I'm not that far behind. Look at that. How did that happen? You're not chatting because you don't want to see that stupid crown and ranking next to your name, do you? Huh? All right. I still haven't seen a QQQ in the house. I did hear my phone go ding. No coffee. Okay, one can only hope. Maggie Malone. Hello, Maggie. How are you? Freckles. Freckles. Good morning, Mitch. I'm on a 2-day fast, so having coffee with you is my big treat today. Maggie, it's a pleasure. And I'll drink to that. I, of course, will drink to most anything. Okay. I'm turning around and looking at my, I have all kinds of cameras outside my house, and behind me, I have a screen that displays all of the little windows. So I can know when I hear a noise what the hell's going on. And if I have to do anything about it. I have a guy coming today to start the process of painting my house. It needs it. He's supposed to pressure clean today. So I heard a noise. I thought, well, maybe he showed up. Nah, no such luck, not yet. But He's not supposed to come till after I'm done this morning. The last thing I need is a pressure cleaner with a gas motor running right outside the window here. So I told him, wait till 10. But I thought maybe he couldn't wait to get started. Boy, Boyd is singing to us. Everybody's talking at me. I can't hear a word they're saying. I know what that's from. Hey, here's our first QQQs of the day. Empires, adventures, empires. Wow, that's clever. It must mean something. Question, what did you decide to do with your ice cream maker? I haven't decided yet. It's still sitting there. It's sitting there, but I haven't used it in over a week, maybe 2. And I don't miss it. I don't think about the ice cream. I'm much better off without it. A lot of people can do it. It all depends how much of a slave you are to these addictions. And honest to God, I am a slave to these addictions. It took me a long time to finally admit it to myself. But I am a slave. I have no control. That is, I think, the true definition of addiction. You could like something, you could enjoy something. If you can do it in moderation, maybe addiction isn't the right word to use. If you can live without it, addiction isn't the right word to use. People tell me I'm addicted to cigars. And I don't consider that an addiction. I enjoy them. And that's why I do them. But I just went close to a month without a cigar when I had the stroke and the time in recovery, in rehab and everything else. And they never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind. I'm sorry. Caffeine? Another story. Yes, I'm fairly sure I'm addicted to caffeine. I enjoy coffee. I look forward to coffee. And if I haven't had any, my mind turns to coffee. And I usually end up indulging. And I did. The whole time I was in the hospital, I drank the coffee. So yes, I'll admit I am probably addicted to caffeine. I've done a lot of research, and even though 1 or 2 people have commented that I'm all wrong, I'm killing myself. Caffeine is, I shouldn't be drinking coffee. It's not carnivore. Oh, God, there's so many people just think they have the right. They have the right, like a mother or father, to smack me around and say, don't do that. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. I'm telling you not to do that. Well, you know what my answer to you is. Everybody's entitled to opinion, but nobody is entitled to give me what amounts to an order, like they have some authority. I don't care how smart you think you are. You don't have the right to do that to anybody. And people like that usually get one chance with me. That's it. One chance in case it's a misunderstanding. But there's not too much of that left anymore, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I'm not addicted to, I don't believe I'm addicted to nicotine because I don't really inhale cigars. Yeah, I probably absorb a little bit through the mucosa in my mouth and all that other story and secondhand smoke that I hear so much about. But miraculously, when I don't smoke, I don't think about it. I don't crave it. So I don't think that's an addiction. It's just something I like to do We all have things we like to do that we're not addicted to. Anyway, we won't go down. I'm not going to start a comments from morons rant this morning. But that was so far the only question. 9 o'clock, 15 minutes behind. Not too bad. Managing to read all of the chat. Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy's gone to bat for me. 53 likes, 108 in the chat. Hit that like button, please. Michael Pregler, the only thing I take now is a baby aspirin, as I do have calcification in my car. Yeah, that's what I'm taking now. Baby aspirin, that's it. Oh, and I do take, I got off, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I haven't talked too much about it, but there's a split opinion of whether vitamin K2 is a coagulant. I was taking D3 and K2. The K2 works as kind of a companion to the D3 and helps steer where the calcium goes. All those things are all interrelated. When I had the stroke, now that I'm taking the aspirin, I stopped at D3 and K2 because I hadn't really discovered enough compelling evidence one way or the other, and I figured, well, I'm not going to take the risk of another stroke right off the bat. Let me stop it. So what I did is, and also, in spite of what a couple of my followers who know who they are keep hammering me and sending me comments in all capital letters with exclamation points, telling me to take massive amounts of vitamin D, I'm not going to do it. I was taking 5,000 units of D3. I cut it back to 2,000. I'm going to catch hell from that. But my vitamin D3 levels are mid-range now, and that's fine. So I'm not going to overdo it. And all my life somebody or other has been trying to steer me into taking, massive amounts of vitamin C. I still get that about you need to take huge quantities of vitamin C. You're not getting it from them. I don't need it. It's an antioxidant. I don't have a lot of oxidative stress in my body. Why would you think I needed antioxidant when I'm not eating the seed oils and the plants that cause the need for an antioxidant? It's just fine. I have no scurvy, and neither do you on carnivore. Somebody will always tell you how much smarter than you that they are. You're wasting your time with me. You're entitled to an opinion. The smartest of us don't have any guarantee that we're right, you're wrong. We only have an opinion based on what we know. And that's all I talk about here, is my opinion. So my opinion on the K2 is I'm not going to take it now. I may be doing exactly the wrong thing. But you take your best guess. So I got some 2,000 unit, little tiny vitamin D, and I'm going to take them. So I'm taking one of the 2,000 unit vitamin D3. I'm taking 2 of the baby aspirin. I'm taking my electrolytes every day, because if I don't take the electrolytes, I get cramps. I just get cramps. There's a lot of talk about the fact, and from Anthony Chafee, that the coffee kind of decreases your electrolytes. So maybe I'm taking them away with this, adding them back with that. Whatever. I don't get the leg cramp, so I think I'm doing okay. I can't live at the doctor's office constantly having them draw blood every 5 minutes or wired up to all kinds of machines every minute of every day. Can't do it. So I take the electrolytes. So let's see. To summarize, and this comes from the fact that Michael Pregler said that he takes baby aspirin. I take 2 baby aspirin. When I left the rehab, they said, take a big aspirin. I don't want to take that much. I don't want my blood that thin. I don't want the stomach ulcers. And I may cut back to 1 baby aspirin. But for right now, 2 baby aspirin, 2,000 international units of vitamin D. I'm taking a fish oil capsule just because. Why not try to get a little more omega-3s in you? And the electrolytes. That's it. No other drugs. No nothing. My my blood pressure is normal. My resting heart rate hovers around 60. I don't need a beta blocker. I certainly don't need a statin. I only get my cholesterol measured either when I go to the hospital or once a year. And the last time I was measured in the hospital was before they started feeding me all that sugar. On the day I went into the emergency room, my LDL was 350. In January, it was 450. And I'm sure if I had it measured when I was on the day that I left the hospital, it would have been probably down around 100 and something because of all of the friggin' sugar that they managed to get me to cram into my body during the 2.5 weeks I was in rehab. It was amazing. But we all know, if we don't know, we should, that if you're eating all the wrong diet, if you're eating all the carbs and sugars and seed oils and all that stuff, and getting unhealthier and healthier, becoming diabetic, having liver problems, one thing is for sure, your cholesterol will go down. How they equate perfect health with low cholesterol is beyond me. Beyond me. The healthiest people that I've ever seen have the highest cholesterol. Peter, you just told us that your cholesterol was low. Your doctor took that as a sign of health. I take that as a sign that you've still got some more to go. I'm not trying to insult you or anything, but when I see somebody's cholesterol is low, that means to me that they're not as efficient at burning fat as they could be. And as you become more lean mass, as your BMI gets down and down, not just you, but everybody, because it happened to me, you will find your LDL levels will go up to alarming levels in most cases, and your doctor will panic. So if you're now this may be completely wrong and a strange way of looking at it, but the way I feel is anytime your doctor tells you your cholesterol numbers are great, that means you got work to do. You got work to do. Unless there's something individually wrong with you. We need, if we are lean and metabolizing fat properly and not living on the sugar or partially, or spending too much of our time, because you're supposed to flex, they say, and they say all kinds of things. For every bunch of theys that say this, here's a bunch of theys over there that are saying exactly the opposite. But it just seems that the one thing I've learned, I've really accepted from Dave Feldman's work, Nick Norowitz's work, is that your high cholesterol is only an indicator. And this is in a healthy individual who is not sick, not diabetic, not living on sugar, and not carrying excess weight. If somebody with a BMI around 20 or 21 or 22 in that respect, with a low cholesterol, I think means something is wrong. Now, maybe not, but in my experience, that's what's happened to me. When I had my cholesterol and it was down in the hundreds, it's because I was overweight. When I lost all the weight, I've been leading low carb all my life, trying to, with the exception of binges. My cholesterol just skyrocketed, as does so many of these things. They call it lean mass hyperresponders. Not call them what you want. There's nothing different about these people. This is the way I think human animals are supposed to react. So that's why all the bad foods proudly label their boxes will lower your cholesterol. Isn't that funny? Isn't that something? Cheerios, oats, anything out of oats, proudly proclaims that it will lower your cholesterol as it about kills you. I don't know, that's what I want. I'd rather have my LDL go up, because that's not cholesterol anyway. It's mislabeled. Say it again, I always say it. LDL is not cholesterol. To call LDL cholesterol is wrong. It's not cholesterol. LDL is a lipoprotein. It carries some cholesterol as well as other cargo that is not soluble in blood, fat soluble stuff. To equate LDL with cholesterol is like equating a FedEx truck with the cargo it carries. You can't call the cargo a FedEx truck. You can't. Maybe all kinds of things inside that FedEx truck, but none of them is another FedEx truck. I'm sorry. If you wanted to do a survey of the number of FedEx trucks on the road, you would not weigh the individual cargo and call them FedEx trucks. You count the number of trucks. That's why in cholesterol tests, they measure the LDL, and by counting the number of particles, they know how much LDL there is, but they still don't know how much cholesterol it is, because they don't measure cholesterol. None of the cholesterol tests measure cholesterol. They measure the trucks, and then they calculate the weight of the trucks, and they assume that a certain portion of the cargo of that truck, which is cholesterol, a certain percentage of the cargo is cholesterol, and they calculate what percentage of the weight of the LDL is cholesterol, and voila, they have your cholesterol level, LDL-C. And in our stupid medical community, they equate one with the other and say, well, your cholesterol is so-and-so. No. My LDL may be a certain amount, and you've estimated how much of my LDL is actually cholesterol. How much of it is vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin A, not vitamin B, but the fat-soluble vitamin A, C, A, B, D, E. I may be wrong about one or two of those, but how much of it is the vitamins? Interestingly enough, and I keep saying this, and I hope it sinks in with some people, that LDL doesn't start out as LDL. It's a low density lipoprotein. It starts out as VLDL when it leaves the liver. VLDL means very low density. The reason it's very low density is because its main cargo at that point are triglycerides, not cholesterol. Oh, the cholesterol's in there because it got loaded at the depot. All this stuff gets loaded at the loading dock in the morning. The only difference between a lipoprotein and a FedEx truck is a lipoprotein is like a balloon. The more cargo you cram into it, the bigger it's going to get. Unfortunately, a FedEx truck doesn't expand. But when a lipoprotein is a very low density, its cargo is primarily triglycerides. They don't measure triglycerides like they don't measure cholesterol. They measure VLDL, the big fluffy, the big, very low density lipoproteins. And we know that the majority of their cargo is triglycerides. So when we get our triglyceride number back from the lab, it again is a calculated estimate that may or may not be accurate for you. Maybe you got less triglycerides and more cholesterol. Maybe you got less cholesterol and more. They have no way of knowing that. They're not analyzing each individual lipoprotein. How much of that is vitamins, other things that are fat soluble and need to be crammed into the truck? You think FedEx trucks just deliver all the packages inside are the same stuff? No. Odds are they all got different stuff in them. So all of these numbers don't really mean much unless you know a lot of other information. And the number of lipoproteins is nowhere near as important as the density of them and the damage they've had. And coupled with the amount of inflammation you have is the only way to even come close to predicting your risk of heart disease. The way we're doing it now is almost meaningless. In fact, I think it's exactly backwards. I think the lower your LDL is and the lower your HDL is, that means the worse shape you're in. And that's pretty evident. If you cram yourself full of sugar, your LDL goes down while you get sick and damage your LDL because the sugar is glomming all over it, and your HbA1c is skyrocketing. The amount of insulin you need is skyrocketing. How can that be considered good health? And that correlates with low so-called cholesterol. I know I keep saying that, but I keep saying it because I keep hearing it used as if it really means something. As if these people who keep spouting this stuff are like dietitians who tell you how healthy spinach smoothies are for you while you got oxalate needles coming out of your eyes, for God's sakes, because you've been listening to them for so long. And I know it's true that I rant against this stuff, but I don't hear enough ranting against it. I hear people explain it like a college professor might, but we need to hear more ranting. Wake up. I try to do that right in the face of these doctors, and it doesn't get me many points with them. But maybe just someday somebody will say, whoa, I never thought of it that way. They're all brainwashed. Lizzie, what is fat adapted? I'm on month 7. Well, we use the term fat adapted. The fact is, you can burn 2 types of fuel, Lizzie. You can burn, and we don't even burn fuel. We metabolize it. The goal of cellular respiration, which happens in every cell to create the energy that that cell needs, is to take the stuff we consume, fuel, food or nourishment, air, which contains oxygen, and water. Without any of those, we're going to die. We need all 3 of them. The water, we can go without for a couple of days. The food, we can go without for a month if we have to. But the air, we can't go without that for any more than a few minutes before our cells start to die. But we need them all. We need them all. And the lungs takes the oxygen out of the air and sends it in the bloodstream, in hemoglobin, and the cells take the oxygen. The water is everywhere. We're 70-some% water. And what's in the food goes through, gets digested, and some of it goes off to become structural material for the rebuilding of cells and things. It becomes cholesterol, becomes, a lot of things. But so much of it becomes fat. And that fat is then transported to the cells in a lipoprotein like LDL. I think the best way to tell how fat adapted you are is how high your so-called cholesterol is, because that's what LDL, lipoproteins do, is they transport fat. And if your cells are using predominantly fat as the first step or the precursor to creating energy, you have to transport all that fat to each individual cell in a lipoprotein, because it's not soluble in blood. Sugar, on the other hand, glucose, is soluble in blood. So the body doesn't need an elaborate transport mechanism. It's to transport sugar to the cells. It's just dumped in the blood. Just dumped in the blood. You could have a river flowing from point A to point B. You might have 2 different types of things you need to transport from point A to point B. One of them may not be water soluble. It may not float. It may just sink to the bottom of the river. So no matter how much of it you dump into the river, it's not going anywhere. The other stuff may be water soluble. You dump it in the river, and everywhere the river goes, that stuff goes, because it's dissolved. Then you can distill it out if you have to. But the stuff that needs to be transported, that doesn't dissolve in the water and doesn't float and sinks to the bottom, goes nowhere. You need a boat for that. You need a tanker, like oil, like an oil tanker. So the same thing is true with sugar and fat. Fat needs a tanker to get through our blood. Sugar just gets dissolved in the blood. So when this gets to the cell, something called the Randall cycle, something very much misunderstood and confusing, actually says, what do I have more fuel? What do I have? Do I have more fat than sugar or more sugar than fat? Because whichever one I have the most of is the one I'm going to let into the cell. And I'm going to shut off the transports and shut out the one I have the least of, because I want to make the most energy I can. So that kind of describes what fat burning and sugar burning is. If you have more fat in your blood than sugar, and your cells at each one individually makes a decision, do I want to metabolize fat? Which one have I got more of? Now, this is a highly simplistic explanation, but this is what happens. You could say I'm a fat burner or I'm a sugar burner. If you're a fat burner, it stands to reason that the number of cargo of tankers you need to get that fat to the cells is going to be a lot more than somebody that's burning sugar or burning a fuel that is dissolved in the blood instead of carried through the blood in some kind of a transport. It's a highly misunderstood term, fat burner, sugar burner, because all of us, in most cases, will, even at the same time, in different cells in our body, switch from one to the other. I think you have to say, what do I use most of the time? When you're a fat burner, you produce more ketones, and a lot of people will use ketones as a measurement of whether you're burning fat or not. I think we try to control it too much. We pay too much attention to it. Basically, if you're not eating sugar, your body's forced to make the sugar it needs, so it won't make too much, and you're going to be primarily metabolizing fat. That's a long answer to a short question. I never got tired of trying to explain that, and that probably wasn't the last time. And again, I am falling behind. Oh, God, I'm more than half an hour behind. All right, I got to race to the finish because I got this guy coming to work on my house this morning. Let me see. Cosmic Jester says, coffee is very down on the list compared to any form of smoking. I still am so tired of people lumping me in with cigarette smokers who constantly suck smoke into their lungs, absorb all of this crap in the tobacco, instead of somebody like me that puffs on them and occasionally gets a little of those chemicals in me. It's not the same thing. I'm sorry. Stop telling me to stop smoking. I don't smoke that much cigars. I'm not a smoker. Don't consider myself a smoker. A smoker is somebody that inhales. I'm a puffer. If you want to call me anything, call me a puffer. I'll gladly cop to that. But smoker? No. No, it's a different thing entirely. Entirely. That would be like calling me, because I smoke cigars, calling me a vegetarian. Well, tobacco is a plant, isn't it? I've had that happen. How can you say you're a carnivore? When you smoke cigars, that's a plant. I don't eat the damn cigars. Puffing on a cigar is not the same as eating a cigar. It's not the same as smoking a cigarette when you smoke a cigar. It depends if you have it clamped in your jaw all day. Yeah, talk about the risk of cancer, lip cancer and all that. Stop it. Anytime somebody chastises me about my cigars, I hide them from the channel. Don't want to hear from them again. Do not like to be criticized. I don't mind somebody's opinion, but when a command is involved, when the words need to are involved, you're gone. Sorry. I don't need it. I don't need you. I'm too old for that. My parents are dead. Don't need another mommy. If somebody phrases them, you need to quit those cigars, you're killing yourself. Bye. I don't tell you how to live. Don't tell me. Either listen to me or don't. Watch me or don't. That's your choice. Try to change me from who I am. I got news for you, my friends. It is way too late for that. And yes, I'm passionate about that. Jem says, question, that's Julie, by the way. I do remember. See that? Soul farts, memory still works. I find myself watching too many carnivore channels. I think I'm addicted. Has lots of life, but Mitch, you are my favorite. Thanks, Jim. Thanks so much. Well, I don't think there's another one like me, so I try to be different in some respect. I don't know if some of it is shtick or whatever, but I try to make it entertaining. A little ranting, stories, things like that, other than just repeating over and over again, eat meat. It's boring after a while. Smoothie says, trying real hard to enjoy black coffee. May have to give it up. Yeah. Well, you can put a little cream in it. A tablespoon of cream, of pure whipping cream, is not going to hurt you. Not at all. If you need to put cream in a coffee, it's probably a good way to get a little extra fat. Mitch, what is your opinion of calcification of arteries? Well, there's really no opinion. Really no opinion. There's a reason for it. It's a defense by our body to stabilize soft plaque. Plaque is always a danger of it breaking off, piece of it breaking off, forming a clot somewhere, causing strokes and heart attacks. The body, by calcifying it, does the same thing. That's what happens to a fossil in the wild. Petrified. Think of calcification like petrified wood. Atom by atom, molecule by molecule, the original stuff the wood is made of is replaced by stone. And over eons of time, in the wild, you dig up a piece of this petrified wood. It looks just like wood because it was replaced with stone molecule by molecule. So all the patterns and everything still shows up. But it's pervious to deterioration now. And it lasts through the ages. Well, that's what the body does with the soft plaque. It calcifies it. It petrifies it. It makes it much less likely to break off and do damage. It generally cements it and makes it hard. And when you have no matter what level of calcification you have, no matter what your CAC score might be, without that calcium, you probably have already had a heart attack or stroke. You might not have lived. So in certain cases, if you had a lot of atherosclerosis over your lifetime from eating all the shit that we eat, the calcium is saving your life. It's not destroying your life. You don't want the calcium to go away. Because if it did, you have no guarantee that soft plaque would go away. I don't think it's necessary to lower or worry about lowering your CAC score. You just want to make sure that your CAC score is not going up to 10% every year that the average Americans is, because they keep creating soft plaque. You want to stop creating soft plaque, which means you want to eat highly anti-inflammatory foods. You want to eat the meat, the fat. You want to stop eating the seed oils and the sugars and the plants that cause systemic inflammation, cause you to accumulate soft plaque, and cause your body to have to continually calcify it. So I think calcium is a lifesaver, and I look at it that way and put very little importance to whatever that number might be. If, this is a big if, this is why I don't care about my calcium. I don't even want to know. I know I've done damage to my body. I don't want to know. Why? If I know, there's nothing I can do about it, or nothing modern medicine can or should do about it. Why torture myself with worry? If there was something we could do to reduce the plaque we already have, other than mechanical, reaming out your arteries or stents or balloons. Those things generally show up with symptoms, except for very rare occasions. Why worry about being what you think is a walking time bomb? I don't care. I'm a walking time bomb. I don't want to know. Some people do want to know. Sorry, that's my decision, and your decision is yours. I do everything I can by my lifestyle and my carnivore diet to stop the further progression of atherosclerosis. That's all we can do. If I have plaque, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm going to leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only reason a CAC score might be advantageous, since it takes decades of abuse for this to have happened in the first place, is to have that done every year, compare it with last year's, and the only important information to glean from it is it getting worse? Have I really cured the root cause of all of this heart disease? And that is the systemic inflammation and the damaging aspects of sugar and seed oils and plants. Because that's all we can control, really. So, what's your opinion of calcifications? It's not my opinion. It's science. It is how come, Leslie, we get calcium? And the reason is it's our body's effort to stabilize what might be otherwise dangerous if we left it alone. So that's my answer. Hope that was meaningful to you. And I'm coming to the point where I got to quit this. It's getting late. And yes, I did it again, but I'm sorry. If you asked me a question today, I didn't get to it, I apologize. I try to, when I do answer these things, at least answer them. Hey, Mitch, any thoughts on a new lean mass hyperresponder study just released recent Cybus? I don't follow Rob Cybus anymore. Not that he isn't great. Not that he's great. I don't have time to watch him. I view his videos as commercials to attract patients to his practice. You cannot, the problem with him is like any other doctor. He's so busy that he's got a staff of people. I've talked to people who have talked to him, and the consensus is he knows what he's doing. He's okay, but it's a mill. It's a mill, a money mill, and I don't need that. I don't need that. He's got things I don't agree with and things I agree with. Oh, now everybody starts asking questions when it's too late. Oh, yeah. Francine, hi, Francine. How are you, sweetie? Says, do you still take iodine? Yeah, I do. Drop or two every morning. I don't think it hurts. Couldn't hurt. Yeah, not enough there to worry, and if you get too much iodine in your body, you'll basically just piss it out. And Jem says, I have questions. Yeah, I imagine. They all come in right before I get to them. All right, I have to keep going here because I got to go, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Yes, 2 days in a row, Tuesday morning. So if you got questions and I didn't get to them today, get them in early, if you would. I usually do great getting ahead of the game until I get to the first question, and then I go down a rabbit hole and have trouble climbing out. All right, I am at the end of the chat. I got there. Yay, that's the bell. Now, the cheers that I want. The end of the chat, so my friends, let me play a little bit of happy music for y'all. I gotta go and get on with my day. Where does the time go? An hour and a half. Going like that. Thanks everybody for coming. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. What else? I think that's about it. Say goodbye to the chat. Have a good morning. Says Deborah Wisegal. Lat says goodbye. Aaron says goodbye. Roxanne, friend, bye all. Have a great day. Pamela Suarez. Cosmic Jester. Bye. Aunt B says Pamela Suarez. Tanya Kitchen Witch says goodbye. Graceful Lily says love you all. Terry Sue says bye. Lori's Carnivore Story is waving at us. Aunt B, Mitch, have a great day ahead. Thank you. Ellen is here. Hi, Ellen. I didn't see you. Have a great day, everyone. Good to see you. Alberto Morante says, why don't you change your opinion after the stroke? That, my friend, it doesn't mean a thing to me. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to change my opinion about. Golf Addict, Spanky, cheers all, how you doing? Bacon Baby says, thanks Mitch, bye. And the music's about to end. And on that note, I will tell you all, take the rest of the day off. See you tomorrow. And eat meat.